Hey, would you look at that? It's time to play some Terraria. Let's make a random character, and it's gotta be male because the male voice sounds better in fast motion, which you will see soon. Who better to save the world than Sky Lord Barry? That's right. We're going with Barry this time. Small world, expert difficulty. I personally like corruption better than Crimson, and since we're speaking of Barry here, this will be the world of Barry. Now, this Let's Play will start off like every other Terraria Let's Play ever created, and that is by chopping down a bunch of trees with thine pickaxe, or axe in this case, I guess, and trying not to die to the horde of slimes that spawn in the beginning of the game. Luckily, I only see one on the screen right now, so that's cool. Now, I really want to clear out an area in the beginning here. Just so I have a place to build my house. I really like to build my house in the starting area so I don't have to worry about making a bed with cobwebs and spawning there every time I die, because in expert mode, let's be honest, as much as you try not to die, you will die a lot. As a softcore character, it means that if I do die, I just lose a bunch of money, I don't lose items, and I don't die forever. Because quite frankly, both of those other options are just not very fun to me. And what do we do when we play games? We want to have some fun. Now, what I like to do at the beginning of the game, and I picked this up from several other YouTubers, is build a wooden sword because it has not a god-awful reach like the initial starting copper sword you have. Now, I moused over it there to see if I had any enchantments on it. I don't think you actually do get any enchantments, and didn't have any, so that's fine. I'd like to get up to roughly 150 wood. It's not really a fixed value, just a lot. You want to be able to make a house with it, and also some platforms, which I go for here. Platforms are super useful for getting across literally anything in the game. Now, I stopped here because these trees are absolutely massive, redwood-sized trees. Chop some of those down, and oh, here we see the approaching horde of slimes. And boy, oh boy, good thing I have a wooden sword for this. Look at all the work it's doing. Oh wait, it's not actually very much anything. I had no good weapons at the start. You are terribly, terribly weak as a character in the beginning of expert mode, and I'm also really terrible at this game, so I just managed to die to 4 slimes. And thanks Terraria. Spawned again, ran all the way back here. I did actually manage to pick up all of the money that I lost there, but there wasn't really that much, so don't get too excited. Alright, slow and steady is the name of expert mode. That's why we're running at 4x speed, and oh, here we go. The first cave of the game. When you get a cave, you want to make a bunch of torches, walk into it. A lot of people like to use rope. I don't really like rope. I'm sort of a wooden platformist, so to speak. Really, here we're looking for just chests, interesting things. And here we have a chest. Did we get anything interesting here? We got a crappy boomerang, which is much better than the crappy sword because it's ranged, so I equipped that immediately. Some potions, some recall potions, and always take the chest because it saves you a lot of resources later on. Alright, here's another chest. Loot this bad boy. Took that out. Actually got a accoutrement. Some claws. I don't really like climbing claws, but it's better than nothing. And here we go for the second BS death of the run. I walk forward 2 steps here and find, to my surprise, that the Crimson spawned right there. That was complete BS. I was salty about that. So I just decided not to go back there. I went to the right instead. Walk past. Oh, there's a lot of trees here. There's not usually that many trees when I create a new world. I like to make platforms over water so that if I ever need to run away from it, it's really nice. There's another blue slime, and I moused over the boomerang here to show that it has, you know, an okay enchantment on it. It's not terribly amazing, but the nice extra upgraded damage is pretty cool. And lovely, and surface chest. I don't actually get a lot of those anymore for whatever reason. But this surface chest had, you know, vaguely nice materials. I like to see grenades and bombs in these, but I don't get too many of those. Wrecking some pots now. It's starting to get dark, Here's the jungle. I don't really want to mess with that, so let's head back away from there. Spend about 5 minutes killing a blue slime. Thank you, expert mode. There's a lot of that. I really want to be able to collect enough slime for torches, so it's definitely worth the time to take out the slimes early on in the game. In this case, well, I really also don't want to die to the slimes. Now, it is getting dark, so I chopped down some trees, and now I'm actually acquiring some stone. I like to have a little bit of aesthetic in my houses, even though I don't care about making it absolutely perfect. It's simple, but, you know, elegant at the same time. So it's dark now, and it's almost impossible to see, killing all the slimes. When you make your houses, I like to make 4 sort of rooms in my housing, and you have to, you know, to make sure that the stupid demon eyes don't come kill you. You want to build the outside of your house first before sort of going onto the inside, clearing out the basement and the dirt. You know, the reason I picked up the stone and I actually didn't get enough of it was for the flooring. That's it. It's literally just so that I can have flooring that isn't wood. It's a little, it's not even a trick. It's just something I like to do. So you need to prevent the need for multiple doors for 2 houses. You can just have 2 rooms separated by a door, and that counts as an NPC room, which is a wonderful super trick that I learned. Also, using the control whatever select toggle thingy that makes it so it automatically places walls. That was basically the best thing ever added to this game. I used to play when that wasn't a thing, and placing walls in the background was the tediousest thing ever, if that's a word. The most tedious thing ever. So, 2 rooms so far, and we won't have NPCs move into the morning, but really what I'm hoping for is a merchant, and I definitely got enough money for that. So a merchant should be moving into one of those 2 rooms, and the guide into the other. Now I want to make a 3rd level here, but I don't quite have, you know, the space. Definitely don't want to be stepping outside into the awfulness of the demon eyes, because, let's be honest, judging by my skill at this game, I would die pretty quickly. Now here I'm just sort of organizing stuff into the chest. I'm putting stuff in there that I might want later, and taking everything else out. Now the chest beneath the crafting table that I placed in the middle is really helpful, because I plan to put an anvil and a furnace there, which would make it so that you can open the chest, have a massive inventory of things, and with an anvil, a furnace, and a crafting table you can make a lot of useful stuff. So it's still night, and I finished building generally what I was looking for, so I decided to dig straight down. There's not much else to do. And luckily, right below me is a massive cave network. Honestly, it's not really that lucky. There's a very high chance that there's a big cave beneath you. But there's not a high chance of that cave leading to everything that you would ever imagine to want. Luckily for me, it did. Here's another chest. Another set of claws. I found out that you can't equip 2 claws, which was sad, but that one had no enchantments on it, so it was not a big deal. Recall potions are really nice. I got an absolute buttload of them this time. Sometimes you don't get any, and that is just the worst thing ever. You have to actually try to make a recall potion instead of finding the ice mirror or the mirror or something like that. Now I keep exploring down this cave, and what do you know? It's a golden chest. I'm running out of torches, so I'm being scantily clad on those, but inside the golden chest is a flare gun. Ugh. I hate the flare gun. It's not very useful, not in my opinion, but I did manage to find a use later on here. I like to take statues because they're pretty sometimes, and my house turns out to be fairly bland in the beginning of the game. The statues sort of spruce it up a little bit, even though they take up some space. But it's totally worth using platforms to get back up just in time for the morning dawn to come. And I mined through a bunch of stone, so I gotta finish the flooring. Here, I guess I'm just finishing the doors, and I'm going to head back to that crimson area I saw before, trying to get more wood for wooden platforms. It does require a lot of wood in the beginning of the game, so wasting time getting wood is definitely something you should be doing. God, slimes are annoying, and it doesn't get any easier. There's always some other monster that spawns that is annoying. Luckily, I was prepared for these ones. And the boomerang helps. If I didn't have that boomerang, it would have been just really annoying. I probably would have had to run away. But killing slimes is very useful for torches, and I was definitely running out of those, so you didn't really find very many pockets in the circles. So here, it's time to be really cautious, so I fired the flare gun into the crimson. I wasn't sure if, like, the crimson was taking up the rest of the area here, or if it was just like a small piece of crimson in the snow biome. Usually the snow biome isn't just covered in crimson, but I guess in this case it is. Now, building wooden bridges across the crimson allows you to cheese these things like this. They sort of fly up into you. But for whatever reason, since it's in the snow biome, I didn't account for the copious amounts of snow slime that spawn, and snow slime are just doubly as annoying as regular slime. I kind of hate them. Blocking off the holes I don't like to do because that block off area can just turn into crimson very easily, and then you have to use a bomb or have a molten pickaxe. It's just annoying to deal with. So I like to use the wooden platforms as much as possible, but if you block it off, it's okay. But now this is the most crimson I have ever seen spawn initially. Like, there were like 8 holes, and it doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. Now here's the danger zone. There's a thing attacking me, a crimson thing, and then there's 2 goddamn ice slimes sneaking up the cliff on the right, and I was trying to get rid of them and make sure I was safe, but I was just bad at the game. I could have easily done that better. So I died for no reason, and really, we'll call that on the game because, man, there was so much crimson spawning. Or it's not even crimson, it's corruption. What am I doing? I hate crimson. I dislike crimson. It's just red and gross and living, and ugh. The purple one is just not as gross. So I was a little discouraged from going over there, but I did find that my merchant moved in to my house, and that's really nice because you get to sell some things. I quite honestly have way too much junk in my inventory right now, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing. Now, from the merchant, I like to buy an anvil. Otherwise, you have to just spend so much time finding in some sort of iron ore. In a bug's net. The bug's net is for angling. Later on, there's like a nice trick where you can get the reefer shark if you're patient enough. I don't actually know if I'm going to end up doing that because I have to get past that dumb crimson area and go to the ocean, and I don't know how far more west that is, or if we'll have to run into another jungle, because I have seen 2 jungles spawn once. Ugh, that was the worst world ever. So here, and once again, I just have a bunch of chests that I found, and they're really nice because it's like an obnoxious amount of resources to make a chest. If you can pick those up and place them, that's very nice. I don't really have a method for organizing anything. Usually the initial chest that I open is just the one that I dump all my garbage into, and then the chest that sits in front of the crafting table is the one that houses all of the ores and all of the special crafting materials and the bars and stuff like that. I kept building this second house here because you always want to have room open for another NPC to come in. And just in case, like if the demolitionist comes in because you just accidentally threw a bomb or there's dynamite or something like that. Usually I find dynamite early on, and it's kind of nice. My favorite method of mining is just hurling bombs down. And it's not because it's efficient and cheap, but because it's just hilarious and fun. So I was playing on the October patch for this, whatever, so eventually sometimes goodie bags spawn, and I don't know if you caught it, but if you open a goodie bag, you usually get some kind of vanity item, but they sell really nicely to the merchant, and you get some extra cash with which to buy bombs from the demolitionist to gain fun. So we're looking like coming up to the end of the episode here, so I hope you enjoyed it. Should move on to doing some more interesting caving in the next one. So catch you later, alligator.